On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender. They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you. The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face, despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair.
Hi, officer. Anything I can help you with? A fishing village on the seashore. This place doesn't really have a name. It's sometimes called Elysium. The sign on the street leading here is illegible. Has been since they built this place. The name is Lillian. People call me Netpicker. I think I have time for questions. And that was actually...
Indeed, you're always confused as to your whereabouts.
Like I said, fish mostly. Sail the waves, take care of the kids, pick nets. I sell the fish to people in the Delta to serve at their fancy restaurants. Authentic insular. Sometimes I also walk to the beach to see what the sea has given up. The sea is...
Keep it professional, man. Don't make it sound like you're hitting on her.
Oh, very. Finding pieces of glass, bits of wood. Every once in a while we get dead bodies. What else? Bottles, drugs also, lost cargo in general. Most of the time it's just wood and glass.
All right. Major choice moment. You only get to ask one thing. It would be weird to say them all. Choose wisely.
And go where? The fish are plentiful here and we get enough orders to get by. It's not great, but it's something. People imagine picking up and finding something better is an easy solution. But how is that supposed to work when all your time and energy goes to...
Hordes of wild, homeless people roaming the lands. Nomads scattered across an endless plain in a dystopian world where tear is the only...
I don't mean to complain about my pauper life. We are warm and fed here and... I don't know. There's just something about this shithole. Sure is. The sun, I call her, coated with a fresh layer of tar just yesterday. It'll take some time for it to dry, assuming the sunny days continue.
She looks at the boat, dripping with slush, and nods, proud.
Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's to intimidate folks, mostly. It's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. Nothing fancy. From time to time, people need a lesson in respect. That's just the way it is. Back in the day, I caught the eyes of many men. And believe me, men need a lesson in manners from time to time. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Others were more thick-headed. And one of them, I ended up marrying. Gone. To the waves. The sea took him. It was a long time ago. He didn't respect the sea, Went out there, drunk like a skunk, and sure enough, one day the boat was found floating empty. A bloated... Now, before you tell me how sorry you are for my loss, know that it was 4 years ago, and I've moved on. There's only so much mourning you can do for a drunk with sinewy muscles. Us working folk don't have the luxury to be bedsick with melancholy. I buried him, mourned for an appropriate amount of time, and my life didn't really change that much for me and the kids.
This is neither a touchy nor a very interesting topic for her. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Let's see. Who are you looking for? Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Call the Mama Dakwa. It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore.
Our tenant, the policeman, I can wash it for you. But it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can...
Hell yeah.
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have it.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock. Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock rattling against.
I don't think that's going to work.
This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screw. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting. The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way. The building has seen enough mistreatment. Yes, the pulsing base. A sure sign of junior delinquency, somewhere east of here.
There's something on the sea ice there. You see a yellow circle with 2 X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean.
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. 2 large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the... The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. Feels exceptional. 300 tons of pine would fit together seamlessly. It's old too, cut and carved many centuries ago. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door...
It's military, a service depot of some sort. The washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast. She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay. This might be it.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not been a priority for the crypto. The reeds shake sadly in the coastal breeze. Snow specks the stalks. Most of it melts quickly. The reeds seem to... The wind picks up here, near the cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal direct. Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoolog.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we are done. No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy? So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, see, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. You know what's crazy, actually?
He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze.
What?
Keep him talking.
This guy. Oh, this is medicinal spirits, the good stuff. I got one of those scientific ampules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to keep a man from taking a drink. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. 5 lemons with half a pack of butter and you're good to go. It was. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Those arseholes charged me £4 to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve dead things. Swipe 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila! What's left is this beautiful blue stuff. 2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. But this last one is yours for 3 real, if you want it.
Don't say it.
Yeah, you thought right. Don't even try to sneak anything past old Rosemary here. I got all senses locked on you, buddy boy. So what will it be? Aye, that's what I said just now. 300 real. Don't you try to trick me, buddy boy. Now you want it or 300 real and it's yours, as promised. Best shit around. Finally came to your senses, buddy boy. Ain't nobody else gonna give you a price like that. Had to let life... Sure, friend. People are just so impatient these days. So that'll be 3 real. Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend. My kind of guy. Here you go, friend. In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip the shopkeep, friend.
Tequila sunset. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right, why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing to help?
You might get scammed here.
Booze. Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. No. Contrary to popular belief, I enjoy being alive. Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder/junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane. It did. With my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded. His dilated blood vessels encircling his irises. His eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment. I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best. Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Yeah, maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story too often, it begins to... But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway, that was all the story one by...
Truly, he has the soul of an artist.
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Interesting. Ah, this is what they use to keep the working man going. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Hett is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see? Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man...
The pause is long.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a fawn tracksuit, searching for the legendary fawn cap that went missing when he lost his head.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless fawn rider riding on the back of another headless man. If I hadn't lost my keys that one time, I'd agree with you. But life is a cruel mistress. Gertrude Hett may have been the first to witness the headless fawn rider, but she wasn't the...
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it.
I read the case file, but please.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ulla de Pont and Eva del... The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ulla turns around to reach for the tackle when she sees something. Her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has... But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of... Ulla makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the... Her body is never recovered. Word on the street is that she, you know, gave herself facial deconstruction surgery.
That part, at least more or less, corresponds to the case file.
See? Told you. Anyway, that's the story of the headless foul rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides. Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptional... Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came... Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
Isn't it? All the pieces fit together Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories? No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye, I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice. Classy. This last one is the most Martinez story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something. All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people. You know, obsessive types, people with Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high. I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real That is, if he even existed. Who knows? Anyway, sometime later he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some
A paradigm-shattering revolutionary?
But then something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand. You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular...
Right. Wrong. It's super healthy. Your brain tells you so. And when has your...
Hey, Tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, It's as white as a blizzard. But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of... That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinique. That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinique proper.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the...
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a... The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man.
Honest men on an honest quest.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast. Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just...
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater. Or no. Maybe...
Or maybe it's in the air. Or in an ancient state pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a minute.
What?
For one, the way is blocked by that big lorry that says Delta Logistics Company on the side. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive. It'd have to be a big production to do the cocaine skull justice. It's just not feasible within the economic and temporal frame of our current setup. Matter of fact, unless...
I have to agree. We barely have what we need to solve the case we've got now. We can't afford to run around. Besides, it would look extremely bad for the RCM to be caught up in something that has the word cocaine writ large on it. The PR is tricky on this.
What are you talking about? Don't give up. Maybe there's another one.
Your loss could have been an amazing, ridiculous adventure.
That's all right. We've got plenty of adventures for one case.
Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket. But then I lost...
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high concept, cultural... I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all went to shit. Well, you know, sex sells. That's the first rule of advertising. Maybe you're right. Who knows? Maybe we were behind the curve? We were fucking rich, though. What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly.
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15%. Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers. And then there's the smell. But you don't even want to think of...
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them any time. My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics?
Hey, tequila! You want to buy some...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember?
I thought he was a cool cop.
A gurgling sound comes from the direction of...
And yeah, you're already acquainted with abs. So yeah, that's basically us. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Nah, this isn't it. Found? That's medium concept stuff. Totally not my style. It's a big world out there, Tequila. Lot of lost jackets in it.
Hey, Doom Spiral. Ain't that the jacket you stole the other week?
Not on your fucking life, Rosemary. What's wrong with you people? Like I'd be caught dead wearing fawn. Like, tell you what, Tequila. Why don't you just hang on to that one? I'll get another.
At least you got a nice jacket for your troubles.
Not that I can think of, currently. That might be the case, yes.
Okay, let's step aside for a second. I have something I want to talk about.
Why does art inspire you so much? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's, in short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation. Have you looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist, with that wild hair and those clothes. Perhaps you should try to write poetry. Of course not. It's autism, box drawing, masturbation with a ruler and a sextant or whatever they use. You should demean and criticize the genteel institution, only the most experimental kind. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art. Quit being so indecisive. What are you going for here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike a bold shot. Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street. You must also apprehend criminals of the print. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to... Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center. You're at home, stupid cop. Not with the art crowd. You hate them. Every...
I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style. To be perfectly blunt, you are dressed like a blood-hungry mercenary. Then maybe you should change your look. You know the expression, the clothes make the man? The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
A warm smile.
Anyway, we should probably get back to the case. Let's go.
It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. You see slabs of concrete north, in the east. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And then the trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. No locust, no phasmid either, but still.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others, like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not. We did sort of promise to tell them, didn't we?
Hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. The Coldima Madakwa? Sorry, I would never have guessed that you were that interested in ultrasonic sounds. Or birds, for that matter. That's fair. It's been a long time since my Coldima Madakwa hunting days. Once knew a group of young musicians who decided they didn't want to play. This was before, lost touch with them after all of that. Cool or not, one of them was obsessed with recording the Coldima Madakwa. And he was one of those passionate people. We thought we did. We got together all these recordings of unusual sound patterns, compared them. Unfortunately, I don't have any recordings from my old life. None at all. But I do have a tape with some ultrasonic sound.
Do we really have time for this?
This recording comes from down the coast. Wasn't looking to record anything specific. Just left a recording. Keep in mind, I have to slow this one down enough to make sounds well over 200 kilohertz audible to the human ear.
As the hum grows louder, modulating but always unnaturally uncomfortably low, like it's coming not from the speakers, but also not good. You're about to start suffocating. He nods to you, reassuringly, just as more diverse, higher-pitched sounds, some random, some appear.
Gulls and skewers. But shh.
That's it. The signal in the noise. A low range of sounds is easier to handle with a focal point, but still troubling. You are mesmerized by the sounds, but also feel nausea.
Now that I've listened to it on these new speakers, it's not the Coldima Madakwa. Wrong patterns, wrong photons. Probably some insect trying to sing higher than its predators can hear.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Not yet, but I was able to convince the database people to share private sector information. One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. You have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else? I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you? Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer? Billy Majon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database. Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately. Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago. Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Majon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day.
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then, yes.
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet. Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her. Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie? She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two. 1 second. Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me? 57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on.
Can I help you? What is this thing? What, the interior decorating kind? You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess? So, I don't know.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like...
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Wait, what? But what about the bird? The bird you brought me a replacement for. The skewer I had, remember? I found it lying on the floor with a broken wing the morning she left. You broke the skewer!
I assure you it was him.
Why on earth did you have to break the skewer? I can't believe it. I was so sure it was Sylvie. Even worse, I thought she was trying to send me a message.
A tender type of hope. Something stirs in you. Perhaps.
All right. Did she say anything else? About me, you know? Did she say anything about me? Really? I should give her a call then. Thanks, I guess. Was there anything else you wanted, or...?
We were sort of hoping there would be a gun, an expensive jewel, or at least a sword in it for you, if you deliver.
Another thing. Yes?
Boy, am I ever so grateful to you, officer. But I...
It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you. Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mexican origin. The pin is an antique.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of it. You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman.
Ramblings. Nonsense. Your description of the
Darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
Measuring things is important. How did she get the size?
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. I looked up, and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some... I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there, knee-deep in mud. Look, I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing act.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
Our first, yes.
The glance is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be tall.
What if it is the case?
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was...
Nothing like the gratitude of a good woman. Now then.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is...
Good. Okay. And? Completely empty?
No locusts?
That's not ideal, but...
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning.
Of course, more clever.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news.
Another trip to the reeds. Why don't you try convincing Morell his hypothesis?
Thank you for the vote of no confidence, Gary. An officer. I appreciate your concern.
You're jabbing at the soft underbelly of his psyche. He realized...
Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like close? Some kind of foul play might be afoot.
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but...
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of... You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
A little hooligan. But what would a child want with bugs?
Oh, my dear Morell. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
Delinquents. My favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please, let us know whatever you turn up.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips.
After this is your last chance to talk to...
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play...
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it. Morel, it's been fun. Really. But I need a bath, and I have deliveries to handle.
No need to apologize, Geary. You'd be more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of Sue's Rain.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law. I mean, officers.
This Post Levantorie mail collection box has been heavily... A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102. You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug Everard. You know he's going to play.
All right, let's go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervour now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today? The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course, my friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and proven yourself a real kingsman who's... You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off...
Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited... Well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality...
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we are going to reset it. Reset! I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be... Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex. Employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress.
The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that. And then there will be a giant statue of him, towering above it all.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, kids off speed, and landowners in a zone hating me. That will be my statue. And damn right I'm up to something, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace. I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're... Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? We're not gonna give nothing. We're gonna take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her... Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the... It's already happening. 2,372. Plus yours truly, of course. Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez. And with renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hand... Haven't you seen the crates outside, Harry? There's all sorts of fun stuff inside them. I mean, heck, this one has you and the lieutenant, me, and... Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as...
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Why, the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it. As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't...
We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be?
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for any...
She will be there from 2200 hours.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. I'm always happy to very nice, Harry. Most certainly, Harry. By all means, Harry.